Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want this gathering to result in a talk shop between ourselves. I would like us to see the outcomes of the gathering and of the recommendations that are made to help us with clear policy making that can be practical and that can respond to the challenges of women in conflict with the law. I will therefore say these are some of the strategic objectives that I expect that we need to come out with clear from our discussions. Assess how gender responsive the criminal justice system is across the board. Objective number 2, along with all the relevant partners in the criminal justice system, develop a framework to ensure the best interests of children impacted by parental involvement in the criminal justice system, taking specific account of mothers with dependent children. Objective 3, let us leverage social partnerships with non-governmental organizations to ensure that we have an action plan which can deliver gender-responsive approaches and outcomes. This must include pooling collective resources towards these initiatives. We are therefore very pleased to be part of this event, and we're extremely encouraged to be able to interact with the launch of the pilot project here today. And we look forward to the outcomes of the deliberations that will help guide our policy making and implementation. I thank you.
Women have been marginalized by society, especially those who come into contact with the criminal justice system or those who conflict with the law. As you may all be aware, we have what we call the United Nations Rules for the Treatment of Women Prisoners and Non-Custodial Measures for Women Offenders, popularly known as the Bangkok Rules. It's an international instrument that's comprehensively agreed and set rules on gender-responsive measures for women in prison.
We need to ask ourselves, both as policymakers and criminal justice stakeholders, what we need to ask ourselves is how the criminal justice system treats women who are in conflict with the law, and to what degree our criminal justice system is gender responsive. All over the world, women offenders tend to have unique pathways to crime, often making them unsuited for incarceration. In our own country, gender-based violence and femicide has been called the second pandemic. And we must never underestimate the impact of gender-based violence on women who find themselves in conflict with the law. We tend to recognize women when they are victims of gender-based violence, but then we neglect them when they themselves become offenders because of the gender-based violence perpetrated against them.
Correctional Services made remarkable strides in this area and has ensured that development opportunities offered to women enable them to take their place in the formal economy of the country. The majority of women sentenced to incarceration in South Africa are serving short-term sentences. There is thus a greater potential for successful rehabilitation through alternative sentences. Regardless of the nature of their crimes, research has consistently proved that a considerable percentage of women offenders in Africa were victims of various forms of violence, mental health problems, alcohol or drug dependency, even before their incarceration. I strongly believe that we can and must do more to prevent violence against women, provide services to survivors, and ensure that perpetrators are rehabilitated and take responsibility for their actions.